Hello everybody, this is Shockman 1000 and Point for Duty. Welcoming you to my brand new, not so much LP, but you kind of get the same gist. This is Robot Wars Extreme Destruction, one of my all-time favorite games. But I can honestly say it's also one of the most broken games, as I can honestly say. Reason why it is broken is because it doesn't really follow the laws of physics in the game as it does like in the real world. Because with Robot Wars, there are many things you often get to see based in the game. And those things imply like the actual robots. So if I go into arcade as a prime example and just select a random thing, you can see all of these robots you can actually like do here. So you got like Panic Attack, Tornado, 101, the All-Stars of Wheelie Big Cheese, Pussycat, Hypnodisc, and Dominator 2 in that. The list goes on. But you actually notice that some of these robots with like weapon mechanics are kind of different, because you see like Razor, he has that crushability factor of the beak, and usually when you watch Razor in real life, he grabs hold of an enemy, but when he raises his beak, sometimes he either lifts the robot up into the air or the beak actually gets let go immediately. But in the game, it acts very differently. Instead, it grabs hold of the robot and you lose all control and the robot just goes all over the place. Chaos 2 with the flipper. When the robot is flipped, they can use the flipper to self-right. The only problem is, you activate the flipper one time and they immediately jump up and self-right in the realistic game. But in this game, you do 1, 2, 3, 4, and then on the fifth one, it might decide whether or not to jump up and do a front somersault all the time. And it's weird. It honestly is weird. So anyway, what I'm doing here is we're going to be focusing on competition mode. And the competition mode is basically like a story mode. We're going to do a new game. And immediately what we're going to do is we're going to hit save. I'm just going to randomly say player 2 because save the effort. And we can do the option of either building our own robot or buying our own. The default ones we get to unlock after buying is either Panic Attack with those lifting prongs and a self-righting mechanism, but the trouble is, Panic Attack can't really self-right in this game. Deator is actually a really good Pokemon, but we're not actually able to buy him because we need 3,750 CR, which I believe is... I don't know what the CR actually stands for, but it's kind of like substantial. But they're the only All-Stars we can basically buy, if we get the opportunity to buy them. We've also got the Bull, which apparently is more expensive than Panic Attack when it's not actually an All-Star Pokemon. Same for Ninor, Spikatron, Fire Drill, and Barabis. Barabis is the only robot we are actually able to buy at 2,580, whereas everybody else exceeds over 4,000, apart from Deator. But we're not going to buy any of those robots, we're going to be building our own. And you can do like add components of like the classics, which is basically the frame of the robot. You can choose from all of these, but you have to unlock them the further you go into the competition. We've got low wedge, high triangle, low dome, and low cuboid. We're going to go for the standard of the low cuboid. You can go for powertrains as well if you want to, but you kind of get a gist. But anyway, we've got wheels here. We've got all different kinds of mechanics here. The green highlighted dots indicates where you can put the wheels. You can put them on the inside of the robot. By... how do you do it? Seriously, how do you do it? I don't remember. Oh! Okay, never mind. So it's like, you can actually buy like large CT, something or other, and or the small Q clubs. Don't really understand the mechanic on that. But you notice that there's actually something that's actually kind of interesting about this. Blimp's entry-level pneumatic rubber tires are fairly cheap but easy to puncture. But these pneumatic tires from Blimp have a better tread, giving better grip for improved performance with enhanced durability. Stuff with an enhanced durability is actually one of the best ones for you to go alongside with. And I realised this is actually how you do it. So you buy a component and you can choose either to do 2, 4, or 6 in the inside, or you can put them on the outside. The best thing to do really is to put them on the inside, because having exposed tires is a common weakness for a lot of people. And we are going to do 4 inners. 6 can actually give an increased amount of traction and control, but we're going to do 4 for the time being. For electrical drives, we got only these 2. The 12 volt is the best one to use. Except it's like, it'll get your robot going, although it may struggle to even move a heavier robot. Whereas this one, it just says cheap and very light. Okay, so we're going to buy this for the time being. We're going to buy 4, well, times 4, because it's basically like 1 for each wheel. And the battery is the most important one, because otherwise your robot won't be able to move. The 12 volt power has sealed lead acid battery, which is actually kind of a deadly battery if you're not using it right. It's the standard workhorse of the Power X range. Whereas this one, it just says the usual cheap power unit for lightweight, low power robots. We're not using a lightweight, we're using a heavy one. And for armor, we've only got wood and fiberglass. Word of advice, if you want to come up with a competitive robot, do not by any means use wood. Wood is the most weakest armor in any robot. So we're going to go for fiberglass. And for weapons, we can only choose either spikes, lances, which do absolutely nothing, axe, or hammers. The axe or hammers is basically like a swinging weapon that can actually do a little bit of damage, but not a lot. Wow, good info with the fire axe, sturdy fire axe. What about hammer? Small hammer! Oh dear, alright. We're gonna go for the standard... Oh. Actually, no. No, we're not... Did I actually buy it? I actually bought it, didn't I? We're going to go for the hammer. And you can also put some extras on if you want to, like a cow moo horn, but really, sound effects are not anything special. Right, we're going to remove that component. So we technically lost some CR there. But, yeah, that's basically all we can technically do. We can rename a robot anytime we want. Just ignore the fact that it just defaults it as Robot 3. We're going to call it... Hammertron. I know, very uncreative, but... Yeah, you can also do like a little test drive if you wanted to. Now, I am sort of using the mechanical controls where your left thumbstick can do one action and then your right thumbstick can do another. But if you're like playing this game brand new, you can do the mechanic of like doing the following. You can press Y to... You can do X and Y to change the camera action. So you got like the standard one. We got zoom out even farther. Like first person camera view, and then the standard Robot Wars Arena Mechanica you would normally see. You can also do A or the right trigger on the next box to activate your first weapon, or for your second weapon to do either B or the L trigger. But we've only got the one weapon, so it's kind of like understandable. If you're doing like regular controls where you haven't actually changed the controls at all, your controls will all be focused on your left thumbstick, where you do up to go forward, down to go back, left to go left, and right to go right. But if you're doing like the controls like I'm doing, where the left thumbstick can only move forward and back, I'm actually pushing left and right with my left thumbstick right now, and they're not even going anywhere because I'm doing left and right with my right thumbstick to make the character turn around. So that's basically how it works. The whole point about Robot Wars is that you actually have to activate hazards like the pit. If you fall in the pit, instant game over. The drop zone, sit on it too long, you have something dropped on top of you. Flame pit does substantial damage to certain robots, but not in this game because it does absolutely nothing. And remember when I said don't use wooden robots? Here's why. They can easily catch fire. And the floor flipper, as you can pretty much tell, will send your robot flying. And there's actually something else. These steam vents, in realistic Robot Wars, they actually helped extinguish the flames of a robot. But if I sit on it on purpose, watch what happens. Yeah, it sends you flying in the air in all kinds of directions. That sucks. Really does. Because it's like mechanics where if something would happen in a Robot Wars game, but they don't like mean it to happen in the game, but it's got no choice but to, like, in other words. And there's also a weird mechanic, like for example, when I showed you Wheelie Big Cheese, Wheelie Big Cheese has spiky wheels. And there was one time where the arena side wall that you saw in the test arena of the actual TV studio, when Robot Wars existed back in 2002, it still exists now, but the Robot Wars arena is a lot different in the here and now than it was back in 2002. And believe me when I say this, I was 6 back then. But this game, I didn't get until either 2003, 2004. Because I didn't get the original Xbox until I was 7. So yeah, we're going to start things off with stage 1. And we got the option to choose Robot Wars Championship, Tube Station Tangle, or Rooftop Rumble. These all focus on a different arena. The Rooftop Rumble focuses on a rooftop battle in Japan. The Tube Station Tangle, you're battling in a subway found in New York. And the Robot Wars Championship, you're in the actual TV studio found in the United Kingdom. We're going to start things off in the Robot Wars Championship and use our main robots. Now, back to what I was talking about with Wheelie Big Cheese with the spiky wheels. There was one time I was using the robot, I got pushed into the arena side wall. And you're thinking, that's all fine and good. You're going to be like stuck in a wall and you're being pushed against it. But listen to what I have to say here. I got pushed in the arena side wall and I clipped through the wall because of the spiky wheels. Yeah, that's what happens every time. And the guy you can hear talking in the game, that is none other than Jonathan Pierce, one of Robot Wars' all-time most greatest commentators. Oh, we got a powerful robot over there sitting by the flame pit. You don't say. And you got the angle grinders on the side there as well. But anyway, we're going to skip this. So, first round melee. You notice that we didn't actually see this battle when we went in the arcade was before. Because in the arcade we saw Annihilator, football, head-to-head, sumo, you name them. The reason why I'm shutting up here is actually because allowing Jonathan Pierce to describe all the robots. Yeah, we're going to get there now. They do actually do the robot introductions of the house robots and the Refbot as well. In case you're wondering, the Refbot is this guy behind me. He will always run away from you whenever you get close to it, but he will always count down from 10 to 0 if ever a robot is immobilized, meaning that they're not able to move. And wow, I'm not even holding right at all, we're just spinning in circles. So anyway, house robots. There are 4 to be found in the arena. We've got Matilda with the lifting tusks and a flywheel. Sir Killalot, who is actually the one you're supposed to avoid. Because at my distance I'm sat at right now, you see, look at that. I didn't even do anything and he immediately chose to attack me. But anyway, the house robots will be yellow carded and red carded every single time they do an illegal attack from the Refbot. And in case you're wondering, yeah, if they get red carded, they have to be staying in the arena's CP set, which is what they're called. This is the CP set. So that's where the house robots sit. And oh, Electros. Okay, this is actually something that's kind of stupid. Electros recognized as being flipped, but because the Refbot has pinned Sergeant Bash into Electra into the pit release button. So yeah, there's been many occasions where a robot has been counted out from being flipped but being pinned in the arena side wall where they couldn't actually do anything because the Refbot wouldn't actually move out of the way. That can happen a lot. So there will be many occasions where your robot will be flipped, unable to self-right, and then you've got nothing else you can do, basically, to survive, because the Refbot will not move out of the way. And we're just going to ignore Jonathan Pierce's commentary there, because he just says the same thing over again. It's like he just says the following about a robot's weapon over and over again. Like that. It just says axe. But I'm using a hammer, not an axe. And washing machine dropped on the drop zone. When you see like a little frame rate of like something happening when a robot sets on a drop zone too long, that will mean that immediately okay, there we go. Tractor's gone. So this is how a first round melee works. You have 3 robots fighting against each other, and whoever sits in the 3rd place position is eliminated, leaving the top 2 to fight each other again in the next round. And believe me when I say this, each and every battle goes on for 3 minutes. If all robots stay alive within 3 minutes, it goes to a judge's decision on style, control, damage and aggression. And usually the best point scheme to go for is damage, because that's the most highly possible points you can actually earn. The only thing I don't like about the judge's decision is that it always favors the AI. And this is a true story. I've had this happen many, many times. It went to a judge's decision, marked on style, control, damage, and aggression. Me and the AI both scored 100 points in damage and aggression. My opponent did not score a single point in style and scored only 5 points in control. Whereas me, I scored 25 points in style and 0 in control, which meant I scored the most points. But it put me in the second place position and gave the victory to the AI, who scored less points than me, because he scored a total of 205 points compared to me scoring 225. Meant I had to do the battle as well as the whole tournament all over again just to get back to where I was originally. And you could tell just how annoying it is. That's the reason why I say this game can be broken sometimes, because when it goes to a judge's decision, they always give me the most points, but they never give me the win. And I don't understand why. But anyway, we've gone over the time limit, so we're going to have to stop things here. We will be continuing off the tournament here of the Robot Wars Championship in the next episode. So next time on Robot Wars Extreme Destruction, we will carry on the competition story mode in beating Elektra. See you guys then.